Jack and the Beanstalk, Part 1. Have you ever traded something for something else that you wanted? Did both you and the other person feel that it was a good or fair trade? Listen carefully to learn what is traded in this fairy tale and decide if you think it is a good trade. If you are already familiar with this fairy tale, listen to see how this version might be different from the one you know. Once upon a time, there was a poor widow. A widow is a woman whose husband has died, who had only one son named Jack and a cow named Milky White. All they had to live on was the milk the cow gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk. "Oh, Jack," said the poor widow, wringing her hands, "we have nothing to eat and no money. We must sell poor Milky White." "Cheer up, mother," said Jack. "It's market day today. I'll sell Milky White, then we'll be better off. You'll see." So Jack took the cow and started down the road. He had not gone far when he met an unfamiliar old man. The old man said, "Good morning, Jack." "Good morning to you," said Jack, and he wondered how the old man knew his name. "Well, Jack, where are you off to?" said the man. "I'm going to the market to sell our cow there." "Oh, yes, you look like just the sort of fellow to sell a cow," said the man. "Now, I wonder," he asked Jack, "do you know how many beans make 5? Jack thought this was a strange question, but he answered anyway. 2 beans in each hand and 1 bean in your mouth. That makes 5. "Right you are," said the old man, and then, pulling something out of his pocket, he said, "And here they are." He held out 5 very unusual beans. "Now, because you're such a smart fellow," he said to Jack, "I will trade you these beans for your cow." "Well now," said Jack, "that would be a nice trade for you." "Ah, but you don't know what kind of beans these are," said the man. "If you plant them tonight, then by morning they will grow right up to the sky." "Really?" said Jack, who was beginning to get interested. "Yes," said the man, "and if it doesn't turn out to be true, then you can have your cow back." "All right then," said Jack. He gave the man the cow, took the beans, and went home. Do you think Jack should have made this trade? What do you think Jack's mother is going to think about this trade? "Jack, are you back already?" said his mother. "I see you've sold Milky White. How much did you get for her?" "Mother, you'll never guess," said Jack. "Oh, you good boy," said his mother. "Did you get 5 or 10? Maybe even, no, it can't be, 20? What do you think his mom is referring to? "I told you that you couldn't guess," said Jack. Then, reaching into his pocket, he said, "See here, mother, I got 5 beans. You plant them, and then overnight they—" "What?" cried his mother. "Beans? You gave away my Milky White for beans? How could you be such a fool? Off to bed with you, and no supper. And as for your precious beans, here they go, out the window." Precious means valuable or very special. Do you think Jack's mother believes that the beans are precious? Why does she say this? So Jack went to his little attic room without dinner, where he flopped down and finally fell asleep. An attic is a room at the top of a house, in the space under the roof. When he woke up, the room looked funny. The sun was shining into part of it, but all the rest was dark and shady. He jumped up and went to the window. And what do you think he saw? Why, the beans his mother had thrown out the window had landed in the garden, and overnight they had sprung up into an enormous beanstalk, which went up and up and up till it reached the sky. So the old man had been telling the truth. The beanstalk grew right up to Jack's window. All he had to do was step out onto it and then start climbing it like a ladder. So Jack climbed, and he climbed, and he climbed, until at last he reached the sky. And when he got there, he saw a long, straight road. He followed the road until he came to a great, big, tall house, and on the doorstep there was a great, big, tall woman. What do you notice about the woman in the picture? She is a giant, and giants are very strong and large characters sometimes found in fairy tales. "Good morning, ma'am," said Jack, quite politely. "Could you be so kind as to give me some breakfast?" "Oh, so you want breakfast," said the great big tall woman. "Well, you'll be breakfast if you don't get out of here. My husband is a fierce giant, and there's nothing he likes better than a nice cooked boy on buttered toast." If someone is fierce, he or she is very strong and dangerous. Does this sound like something that could really happen, or is it a fantasy? "You'd better get going, for he'll be coming soon." "Oh, please, ma'am," said Jack, "I haven't eaten since yesterday, really and truly." Well, the giant's wife wasn't so bad after all. She took Jack into the kitchen and gave him a chunk of bread and cheese and a jug of milk. But Jack hadn't half finished these when, thump, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of someone coming. Someone big. To tremble means to shake. Who do you think is coming? And what do you predict will happen next? You will hear the rest of this fairy tale next time. What characters appear in this story? Are they real or magical? What words would you use to describe Jack? Would you use foolish, brave, worried, excited? What words would you use? What is the setting of this story? Why is Jack's mother wringing her hands in the beginning of the fairy tale? Why do you think the man traded the beans for the cow? What does Jack's mother do when she hears about the trade? Does she think the beans are precious? What does Jack discover when he wakes up the next morning? Who does Jack meet after he climbs the beanstalk? How does this part of the fairy tale end? Would a plant really grow this fast, or is this fantasy? Could a person really climb a beanstalk? Do you think Jack made a good trade when he traded the cow for the beans? In the read aloud you heard, "And as for your precious beans, here they go, out the window." Say the word precious with me. Precious. If something is precious, it is very valuable and special. My grandmother's necklace is very precious to me. In many of the fairy tales we've read, characters have items that are precious to them. Describe some of those items and try to use the word precious when you tell about them. What's the word we've been talking about? Think of something that is precious to you. Remember to answer in complete sentences and use the word precious in your answer.